numbers that we have down here, and they'll surprise you a lot. It's crazy how much money there is to spend and how much money people want to spend in the disability and impairment sector. Okay, so 30-foot drop acknowledges the traditional owners of land throughout Australia and recognises their continuing connection to land, waters and the community. We pay our respects to the Indigenous people, their cultures and beliefs, to both elders past and present. 30-foot drop funding. 30-foot drop would like to acknowledge the Department of Communities, Disability Services for funding this and many other initiatives. Without their support, such projects such as Two Wise Monkeys wouldn't see the light of day, and we'd be so much more poorer for it as a community. So we're very grateful to have that. This workshop is part of a Realities and Advantages of an Access and Inclusion grant awarded to 30-foot drop as part of an Information, Linkages and Capacity Building grant for 2018 and 2019. Hang on one moment. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that, little child coming in to tell me something. So where was I? This workshop is part of the Realities, Advantages of an Access and Inclusion grant awarded to 30-foot drop as part of an Information, Linkages and Capacity Building grant for 2018 and 2019. Okay, housekeeping. Let's go over the 30-foot drop housekeeping. Unfortunately, we do not have all the resources to monitor all of our live streaming platforms. So if you do have a question for me, please head to the link which is just below the video, www.30footdrop.com.au, and you can hit the live box button on the website and chat with us. So unfortunately, if you're watching through YouTube or Facebook, you can't chat through those platforms, but you just need to head over to our website, which is the link below. We'll be covering a lot of information in a short period of time, so we ask attendees if they can minimise any distractions that they might have, and that's quite impossible right now for those of us working from home. So you will see that it's hard for me even to stop the distractions walking in. And if you talk about 30-foot drop, please make sure that you tag us in anything that you've talked about us, like you tag us and talk about us and get our message out there, because the more people that can know about what we do, the more we can make things happen here down the southwest and even all around the world. And we'll be recording the session, so if you did want to go back on it and re-watch it, you can re-watch it once I've hit the end button, and any resources that we have or we have talked about, they're all available as well on our website. So if you wanted to look further into some information that I've talked about, it's all available on the website, which is the one below this video, www.30footdrop.com.au. At the end of the webinar, we do have a very short survey that we would really be grateful if everyone could fill that out, because the more feedback we can get, the better. The better we can change things and make things better. Okay, so next, let's go into the presenter introductions. So, I am Lisa and I am Hear No Evil. I'm one of the Two Wise Monkeys. Through me, I hope that after today and after all of the workshops, you will hear no evil about impairment. My story is more of a hidden story. I was diagnosed with mild dyslexia when I was 8 years old. Teachers used to hit me on the head and read out my low marks and yell at me in front of my classmates. Why don't you understand what's wrong with you? Making me feel completely dumb and unworthy in front of everyone. It was a really awful thing to go through, and I think being a girl, it was slightly, it was like it wasn't believed or something. It is more common for boys to have it, so there was slightly more pressure on me to try harder or something like that, because there wasn't enough known about it back then. But now I'm sure that teachers wouldn't get away with speaking to you like that, and there's so much help out there nowadays for children with disability and impairment. So I didn't let it stop me anyway. I was determined to succeed, and I ended up realizing that I was quite good at art. So I followed that passion. It took me all around the world. I worked in the UK, in galleries in the UK. I work with, got a certificate to be able to work with museum grade artworks where I can preserve them and look after them. I have had exhibitions of my own. I paint myself, and I also have my own photography business. So, you know, don't let it stop you. Everyone has their own passion, and it doesn't matter if you're not an amazing speller or an amazing mathematician. You'll find who you are. You just need to hold on to that and go with it. And the other wise monkey is Ben. He is the boss and the brains behind these projects. His impairment or disability is more of an obvious one. So through his accident, he was just made aware that no one really knows enough about disability and impairment. So how can we expect people to really know how to deal with it or change things if there isn't anyone out there talking about it and making people aware? So that is why our website and Two Wise Monkeys run, because we want everyone to be aware, and we want everyone around Australia and around the world to change their thought pattern towards disability and impairment. So I will let him tell you his story when he's back on. But for now, let's find out who the third monkey is. Who is Speak No Evil? And hopefully you guessed who is Speak No Evil today. It's you guys. So the aim of today's workshop is to turn you into that wise monkey. You'll begin on a journey of realizing that, impairment or not, we are all human and deserve to be treated and acknowledged with the same respect as anyone else. And if you really did want to become that third monkey, we do have these lovely, lovely, lovely monkey t-shirts for sale now. You can get them off our website. Just go onto the shop. They are available in black and white, and from sizes 6 children's size to size 5XL. So get your hands on one of those. They are so comfortable and such good quality, and they're really, really popular. Okay, so now let's head into the outline and method of tonight's workshop. So how are we going to get you started on the path of a wise monkey? Well, there's a lot to learn about people with impairment and their potential impact on your business. First up, we're going to look at the most recent Australian researchers. Sorry, got a bit lost there. The most recent Australian research, so that you can better understand the size of the market and the accessible tourism market in WA. This is an exciting market to learn about, especially if you're watching today, because you'll be able to make changes even from today. This market is definitely a more forgotten and hidden market. So let's have a look at this lost market, and please, along the way, ask yourself, is your business meeting the needs of people with disability and impairment? After this, we'll be breaking it down into segments and examining the characteristics and habits of it. To finish up, we do an open forum, so if you do have any questions, we can chat at the end, but as well, like I said before, we can talk about those things along the way if you did want to chat. Okay, so what will our teaching method be? What is our teaching method? The answer is fun and open and honest discussion. If we can't be open and honest about disability and impairment and the things that we want to change, then the change isn't going to happen. We can't keep it bottled up inside. We need to educate each other, and that is by talking, and that is by getting your thoughts and feelings out there. And we can only do that by being honest. You'll notice that there's very little written content on the slides, and that is so that it's easy for everyone to follow and understand, and that includes people with disability, people with hearing impairments, people with vision impairments, and also people with learning disabilities. If you've got information that is too complex and hard to keep up with, then you're going to lose people. So that's why our webinars are just simple and easy to follow, and we hope you like them. Let's go over some terminologies now. People quite often get these words mixed up. So these are the differences between disability and impairment, and the difference between access and inclusion. Let's go with impairment first. An impairment is an injury, illness, or congenital condition that causes or is likely to cause a loss or difference of physiological and psychological function. In short, your impairment is your medical diagnosis. So my medical diagnosis is that I have mild dyslexia. A disability, on the other hand, is the loss or limitation of opportunities to take part in society on an equal level with others due to social and environmental barriers. It is, as the word implies, something that makes you unable to participate and access something. So an example for someone with a learning disability: too much wording, too much stylized script, complex information can make it hard for people with disability and learning impairments to understand, which then makes it hard for us to get the right information that we need to use your business or service. This is especially important information to know because some people's impairments, like mine, are hidden. So you wouldn't necessarily know unless you're being made aware of it right now today. If you've got complex information on your website, in your marketing, then you're losing a percentage of people that are finding it too hard to understand. So make sure your information is easy and accessible, and then you're going to be bringing more customers to your service because more people understand what your business and service does or is. So hopefully that makes sense, the difference between disability and impairment. Let's now go over the difference between access and inclusion. Access refers to the removal or reduction of barriers to participate in activities and functions of a community. At its core, access focuses a lot on the physical world around us and can be assessed with a checklist. So we do have a checklist on our website. You can go around your business and service and make sure that your business is accessible. Are the door frames wide enough for people with a mobility scooter or a wheelchair? Are the door handles at a good level for every person? Are the door handles lever or are they round? Because being a round door handle is going to make it hard for everyone to use. So lever door handles are better for everyone. There's so many different things you can go around your own business or service and check with our checklist to make sure that your business and service is accessible for people with disability and impairment. Next up is inclusion. Inclusion is more of a psychological state of being and is a process hereby every person, irrespective of their age, gender, disability, sexual preference or religion, who wishes to can participate fully in all aspects of an activity or service in the same way as every other member in the community. You need to make sure that your business is open for everyone. It's not just for certain people. Your business needs to be inclusive, and that includes people with disability and impairment. If you've got a restaurant and it's on the water, and you've only got a certain area of the restaurant that sees the water, but there's a step down to it. Now, someone in a wheelchair is not feeling included and not going to be able to use that area. So that's not an inclusive business or service. So definitely something to think about there. Hopefully that all makes sense once again. And if you do have any questions about the terminology and review, please feel free to send us a message. Next, we are going to go over the Southwest tourism stats for the southwest of Australia. The following stats have been taken from the Southwest 2017 visitor fact sheet, as well as the economic contribution of tourism to Western Australia, tourism's regions produced by Tourism WA. Both the stats and information is found on our resource library. So if you want to look more into these stats, you can head into our resource library, which is on our website under sources and then resources, and you'll find all the information. And that's where the accessibility checklist is as well. Okay, during the 3 years from 2014 to 2016, our region, the Southwest, had an average of 2.49 million overnight visitors. This does not include day trippers. Every visitor stayed on average 3.6 nights. And tourism accounts for 1 in 5 people being employed in this region. Huge. Okay. Next is the accessible tourism market. The following stats have come from a report called The Accessible Tourism of Victoria and Queensland, done by Research Australia in conjunction with the state's tourism departments. Unfortunately, no research has been done that focuses directly on WA, but this report also focuses on Australia as a whole. So, it also looks at the domestic market, so these numbers are highly likely to be higher if international visitors were included. Due to the similarities, though, between the Southwest tourism market and those of New South Wales and Queensland, we have extracted the findings to calculate the following information. This study estimated that the size of the accessible tourism market for overnight or day trips is about 7%. And that's about 1.3 million people Australia-wide, equating to almost 150,000 people WA alone. The thing is, with this 7%, most of us are really holidaying alone, with an average party of 2.45 for overnight travel and 2.62 for day trips, bringing this figure now to 17%, or 390,000 people of WA population requiring accessible tourism and experiences. So ask yourself again, is your business or service providing services for people with disability and impairment? The estimated annual expenditure for this segment comes to approximately 8 billion Australia-wide, which equates to 916 WA-wide and 163 million in the Southwest region. Now that is a lot of money to be spent. And that's a lot of potential business for you guys. Let's look at the unserved market now. This report noted that there is a segment of Australians with an impairment, including adults caring for a child with impairment, who are not currently travelling, which is really, really sad, but they would like to travel with certain industry improvements to accommodation, transport and current technologies. In WA, this segment was estimated at 34,000 people, which is approximately 225 million. This represents a large boost when you consider the current size of the market, which is 163 million. Just crazy numbers and crazy money. Now let's understand this market a little bit more. So we know that there's a market segment of people with impairment that can be tapped into by tourism and events businesses. Let's have a look now at their needs, so that you can better understand them, so that you're more able to serve them. Although people with impairment generally have lower incomes, the average population as a whole, generally have lower incomes than the average population, they should not be considered as low. More than 1/4 of those who identified as having an impairment were in the top 2 income categories, which means they have a disposable income of $900 per week. In the Accessible Tourism Survey, they found that approximately 55% of the segment had a mobility issue. This included people that use mobility devices and those that have difficulty moving more than a short distance. Of those in the segment that do not travel, 23% was because it was just too stressful, and the other 22% was because it was just too hard. Like most Australians, people in this segment travel for leisure, but it was noted that visits to friends and relatives were often preferred because of knowing the layout of the accommodation, which helped with the planning and resulted in a less stressful trip. So if you're out there thinking, well, how can we make our business more accessible so that these people can come to our business instead of having to go to friends or relatives every time they want to travel? Because I'm sure that these people with disability and impairment would love to go to other places to stay. But there's just not enough information out there for them to feel comfortable to come to your business. So please jump on board and make your business more accessible. We do go over how to do that in other webinars, so join us next week for those as well. Let's now head into, that doesn't understand the market. Okay, still in understanding the market. Travellers with an impairment share many characteristics with the broader population. The tools used in decision making were the same as the wider population, with the internet search coming in first and word of mouth second. Reconnection and unwinding are core needs for all Australian travellers, and this is just as true for people with disability and impairment. Approximately 40% of travellers with an impairment sought to meet those needs through either being more active, more emotionally or intellectually stimulating experiences. We all want these things to happen when we travel. We want to feel connected. We want to feel more active. We want to feel inspired. We want to feel fresh. We want experience. So that stat just highlights that. It highlights to us that we all just want and need the same thing, and we all just need to feel like we're included in your business. Although travellers with an impairment did slightly fewer activities, many of the experiences that they participated in matched those of the broader population, doing things like everyone else, eating out, going to the movies, going to the beach, nature and cultural experiences, all the same. We're all no different. Overall, they tended to stay in the same types of accommodations and visit the same destinations as the broader population. And of all the visitors, only 14% were over the age of 65. So it just shows, most people think, it's only the older people need it for this and for that. But there's a percentage that aren't over 65. There's a percentage of us that do have a disability and impairment that need your service and would love to come and see your service or business, especially nowadays with the virus and what it's caused in the tourism industry. The tourism at the moment is probably not really much happening. So if you're watching this tonight and you're thinking and trying to think of ways to change and make your business better to attract more people, then start by looking at your accessibility. Start by looking at how inclusive your business is for people with impairment and disability, because there is a huge amount of money to be spent, and all of us want to travel. All of us want the enjoyment of it. So if you can make your business more accessible for all of these people and every single human being, then we'll all be happy. So that is part 5 of the accessible tourism and events. It's a short one tonight, but it's definitely worth looking at and investing in, because, you know, we all want to do it. We all want to feel the same and happy. And so many people would love to come and join your business, and how they can do that is up to you. So now we are going to head into the question time. If anyone has any questions, can you please send me some questions? If you do have to go, that's fine. You can join me next week to do Tapping In Part 6. And then, so Tapping In Part 6 will be on Tuesday next week. And then we will start off on Wednesday with Tapping In Part 1. So if you're new to joining us tonight, please join us from the beginning, and you will be amazed at all the information that you can get out of these webinars to change your business. We go through ways to change your website, ways to change your marketing, all sorts of things, accessibility, even building accessibility, all sorts of things that you guys now can start watching to change, because now is the time while there's a bit of a downtime, and we all are going to have to start building it up again, and making these changes will only make it better. So please head over to the question box, which is the link below, if you have anything for me. But if you do have to go, I hope you have a marvellous weekend, and I will see the rest of you next week. Right, I'll be on the line for 3 minutes if you have a question, guys. See you soon. Hey, welcome back. There doesn't appear to be any questions tonight, which is fine. I hope you all enjoyed tonight, and if you do want to join us for the next webinar, come and join us on Tuesday at 11 o'clock for webinar part 6. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope it all made sense, and please join us again for these amazing changes that can be made, because now's the time. Now is definitely the time. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good weekend, everyone. See you later.